Everybody please stand for the invocation. At this time, we have our Cub Scouts here, and this evening they're here to fulfill their requirement for their citizen badge. So at this time, I'm going to welcome our Cub Scouts to come in.
Because the United States flag symbolizes the highest ideals of liberty, justice, and brotherhood, it deserves our respect and the traditional honors given to standards and banners. We show respect to the U.S. flag in many ways. It is flown on public buildings like this one every day when weather permits. Some citizens fly it at home every day too. It especially should be flown on special days such as President's Day in February, Memorial Day in March, and Veterans Day in November. Please stand. When in uniform, with your head covered or uncovered, either indoors or outdoors, stand at attention and salute with your right hand. When not in uniform, stand at attention and place your right hand over your heart. With his right hand and hold it at his left shoulder with his hand over his heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You want to keep them up here 1 minute? Council could sit down. And Andrew, you want to stay at the podium, please? This is part of their requirement to come in tonight to get their badge. They're all going to be promoted, right, Beth? Into the next level of their organization. And they had some questions. They interviewed the police chief, our mayor, and myself before, and we had some questions for them. And Andrew, I want to see if you remember the questions that I had to ask you. One, who was the President of the United States?
Barack Obama.
Who was the Vice President of the United States?
Joe Biden.
Who's our governor?
Ed Rendell.
Who is the mayor of Bristol Borough?
Bobby Lebo.
I'm going to ask you this one now. You failed this one. Who was the President of Borough Council?
You.
I asked him the first time. He says, I don't know. Congratulations, everybody. You guys do a great job, and we're honored to have you here this evening. You're welcome. Okay.
My name is Peter. I'm going to talk about how to be a good citizen. To be a good citizen, you could clear trash out of lakes or streams. Another way we could help is to plant trees. Trees provide shelter and food for birds and animals. Trees also take in carbon dioxide and give off oxygen, making the air pure. One last way to save water and energy at home. Fix leaks and don't use more water than necessary when you shower and brush your teeth.
Very good. At this time, we have another presentation by Councilman Sabatini for Jonathan Queasy Wessels and Officer Fate.
Yes.
Anybody else wants to come up? Any family members, feel free to.
Okay, I think I got it working. First of all, I'm happy to have Mr. Fate, or Police Officer Pete Fate here. He heard about this incident second-handedly. I first heard about this through Danielle Webb, who had called me and told me about this very fascinating story about giving and what the holidays are like. Jonathan, who I've known a long time, had a neighbor friend of his, all their toys were robbed. This young man went out, wrapped up presents of his own, and gave them to this family as a gift. And that is what the holidays season's about. It's about giving. So at this time, I'd like to give a certificate of commendation to Jonathan Queasy Wessel, is hereby recognized by the Bristol Borough Council for his exceptional spirit of sacrifice and giving during the holiday season. Congratulations, young man. Sure? Okay. There you go. Keep the spirit with you. It's great to see a 7th grade student that has a heart and a good heart to go.
Thanks.
Keep up the good work.
Mr. Lutz?
Here.
Mrs. Cohen?
Here.
Mrs. Trudell?
Here.
Mr. Rodriguez? Mr. Musi? Mr. Sabatini?
Here.
Mr. Punske?
Here.
Mr. Di Giuseppe?
Here. At this time, I'm going to open up public participation. If this side of the room would like to speak on anything at this time, please step up to the podium. Anybody on this side of the room would like to pledge?
Good evening. My name is Liz Fisher. I live at 1102 Wood Street, and I just have a brief update on the proposed dog law. First of all, I'm very proud of the Scouts and their leaders,
Yeah.
their family. But I met with Representative Galloway in December, and we discussed the proposed dog law, which is out now because every couple of years, every 2 years exactly, the legislature tosses out pending bills because otherwise they'd be up to the ceiling, as Mr. Galloway put it. So the dog law will be rewritten and resubmitted. And to be clear, it will contain the language, and I'll start with this first because I know people worry, that no particular breed can be targeted or banned. That will be in the dog law when it's written. And it will include the language that each municipality would be able to create and enforce its own dog law ordinances, which is what we started with and what we're going for. And this has been an uphill battle, and we know that because 2 years have gone by since we started our campaign, but too many people and too many pets have been injured to stop. We've had a couple of downhill rides, I should say, but we are gearing up to campaign again. Since we've started, we had a House bill written, we had it introduced. We have made friends in Harrisburg and Pittsburgh, including dog organizations, including a pit bull organization. We've made friends, and they've offered to help us. So we're moving forward with that. We're going to have an opportunity soon to meet with people on the Agricultural Committee about the wording of the proposed bill. So I'm looking forward to getting it introduced again and starting the train again, get moving on a campaign. And I do want to address one issue that came up early on when we first started, and that was that some people, and I really have never been defensive about this, and I'm not going to make a habit of it, but some people early on went out of their way to promote the notion that we were using what happened to our beagle Luna as a way, this borough and I, to get pit bulls banned. Nothing was further from the truth, but nobody asked us, they just went with it. And I would just like to, if I may, show something. This has been close to my heart for a very long time. And my sister found this. It's a story that I wrote 30 years ago. Why it's important to train your dog, what can happen if you don't. And I have to say, I mean, who was thinking about pit bulls 30 years ago? And I think most people didn't know what they were. So this is something that's been close to my heart for a very long time. And it took the two incidents that's happened to our dogs to really get us in motion to try to do something about it. And so I thank you for listening to me. That's the update, and I'll be back if there's any further news. I have a copy of this article also that I'll leave in case anyone wants to check the date or the content. And thank you very much for your support.
Just so you're aware, and I was rushing to get here, I got a call from Galloway's office this evening asking if myself, our solicitor and manager, would meet them in Harrisburg, I think February
Thanks.
10th, is it?
Yes.
To speak on the House floor
They've asked me to come to that meeting too.
pertaining this issue.
Oh,
So I didn't get
terrific.
back to them yet,
Mhm.
but, I mean, I'll talk to our manager and solicitor.
Okay.
And Robin likes taking rides to Harrisburg, so.
All right.
We went there enough asking for money, so I'm sure we can go up there on. But, so there's definitely something in the making, and I think that with your efforts and all your hard work, I think you're going to see this become a reality soon.
I really appreciate it, not only on behalf of my family and my dogs, but all of the people and all of the pets who have been injured and who have become part of this campaign. I thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Liz.
Anybody else on this side of the room? Yeah, I thought you were getting
We
up
thought
to
it was you,
speak.
Joe. You stood up. We said, this is the first.
Hi, my name's Ellen Callahan, and I would like to thank three people, Mr. Dillon, Chief Porter, and our control officer, Mr. Palmer. We had a situation across from my house that's been going on about a week. A tenant was evicted, and she had several cats, which, you know, they can be hard to round up, and that's what happened to her. Several of them got left in the house. The landlord, he refused to let her back in the house, this is a short version, to get the cats. She had been in contact with the SPCA. They said they would bring her traps, but she couldn't get in to put them there. So we weren't sure what to do. He had even threatened to kill them at one point. So I emailed Mr. Dillon, and he got a hold of the chief, and they managed to get Mr. Palmer into the house, and he removed several cat cages, occupied cat cages, on Sunday. And I know he was back today, but I didn't know if he had caught any more or whatever, because I was busy. I just happened to see the truck. But I wanted to say thank you to those three people, because years ago, if someone had called up about this kind of situation, you would have been told, sorry, there's nothing we can do. And I just think they went above and beyond the call, and I'm really proud of them, and I want to say thank you. Mr. Palmer especially, because I know he doesn't really handle cats. And he had to work on a Sunday, and I'm sure he wasn't thrilled, but he did a great job, and I just want to say thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ellen.
Anybody else on this side of the room would like to speak?
Joe again. Come up to the microphone, please, Mr. Gasper. Oh, no. Okay.
Nobody on this side? At this time, I'm going to close public participation. Item number 2 on the agenda.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes of the December 14th regular meeting, the January 4th reorganization meeting, the work session of January 5th, and to accept the treasurer's report for November, accept the police and district justice report, and to accept the fire chief's report, and also to accept the borough inspector's report.
I have a second. Second by Mr. Sabatini. Any questions or comments?
Mr. Chairman, on the treasurer's report, can we get that in our packet for the work session rather than the regular meeting?
I think it's usually done that way, Jim.
Yeah, it is.
But with the holidays and employees taking vacations, we only have one full-time person in the accounting department, so,
I don't remember it never coming in our packet besides this month.
Okay, well, I don't want it to be a habit. I'd like to be able to read that before
Yeah.
and discuss it at the work session.
But I'm saying it's always in our packet.
That's fine.
Any other questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Number 3.
Mr. President, I'd like to adopt a resolution designating banking institutions as borough depositories for 2010 and 2011.
I have a second. Second by Mr. Trinnell. Questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Number 4.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to retain Armour & Sons Electric for 2 years semi-annual maintenance on the traffic signals in the amount of $5,250.
I have a second. Second by Mrs. Cullen. Any questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Number 5.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to approve the contract with Leo Polinsky III for athletic field maintenance in the amount of $12,000, which includes cleaning the bathrooms.
I have a second. Second by Mr. Trinnell. Any questions or comments?
For the solicitor, does this have to be bid, Mr. Sloan? Does it have to be bid? It's over $10,000.
No, maintenance. Maintenance. I think we went through this last year.
Any other questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
President, I'd like to abstain. That's my son. Fill that out.
Number 6?
I'm not...
Number 7. Number 6.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to adopt Landmark Town Strategic Wayfinding Plan.
I have a second. Second by Mr. Sabatini. Any questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Number 7.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to table motion 7. The reason to table this is because Mr. Rago did not have time or chance to do the meter proposal.
I have a table. All those in favor to table this?
Aye.
Opposed? I'd just like to speak again on that, as Mr. Musey said, this Wednesday at 9:30, anybody from council, welcome to take a ride. We're going to see 4 or 5 facilities to see what one we're interested in at that point. Mr. Rago then can give us a definite number on what it would cost to design this building. So if any members of council would like to go, we're leaving here at 9:30 on Wednesday morning. We'd probably be tied up almost 6 or 7 hours because we're going into New Hope and different areas. Field trip.
Road trip.
The last thing is, before we adjourn, we have 2010 Martin Luther King Jr. Day of Service. It's for the trash cleanup at the Bristol Marsh, Monday, January 18th. If any borough residents are interested or anybody wants to help out with this, it's 10 a.m. down at the parking lot. And again, it's the Martin Luther King Jr. Day of Service with the Heritage Conservation. Will also be there. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Mr. Chairman, can I make one more? Under others,
Sure.
I'd like to have send a letter to Mr. Austin, Cleveland Austin from the Lower Bucks Hospital, who just left his position. I think over the years he has proven to be a friend of Bristol Borough, He helped sponsor that newsletter, and I think on behalf of the mayor and council that we should send him a letter of expressing best wishes for his future.
Great idea.
That's all I have.
Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.